Right, so I'm going to close my eyes and place my hands on my heart, taking that breath of love and gratitude. So grateful for this opportunity to come together to be the two or more gathered in the name and the nature of love. So grateful for our willingness to have open hearts and open minds, our desire to shine away any and all blocks to love and be truly helpful in this world. We're so grateful for our Course in Miracles community and our desire to live the teachings of A Course in Miracles, not just study them and be able to spout them. We're grateful for the love and compassion that is shown in this community and for all of our earthly and heavenly helpers that are joining us here and now, blessing us, blessing this call, blessing all those here and all who may listen later, blessing the technology that we get to use to come together each week. And we're grateful that we get to share the benefits of our lives of love and the love that is radiating from each other in this call and during this call with everyone because we're one with them. In grace and gratitude, we let it be. And so it is. Amen. So we're in chapter 25 still, section 4, the light you bring. And I'm going to start us off. In the middle of paragraph 4 and half of paragraph 5. And in the sunlight, you will stand in quiet, in innocence and wholly unafraid. And from you will the rest you found extend, so that your peace can never fall away and leave you homeless. Those who offer peace to everyone have found a home in heaven the world cannot destroy, for it is large enough to hold the world within its peace. In you is all of heaven. Every leaf that falls is given life in you. Each bird that ever sang will sing again in you, and every flower that ever bloomed has saved its perfume and its loveliness for you. What aim can supersede the will of God and of his Son, that heaven be restored to him, for whom it was created as his only home? I found such comfort in those words this week. Between things happening in my own personal life and the lives of folks that I love and in the world, it's comforting to know that really the only thing that's real is love. And if we're willing to accept that and let go of all the other garbage that we place on ourselves, on each other, on the world, then we can have that peace, that quietness, that heaven where the birds are singing and the flowers are blooming and there is joy. So that's where I'm starting us off, in joy. Go ahead, Carla.
Okay, I got different background because I'm moving, and so what you read was something I had highlighted as well. The line, especially line in paragraph 4, line 5, the second half, so that your peace can never fall away and leave you homeless. Appearances are, and my experiences are, I'm moving out. Here, but someone's supposed to come and move the big stuff today, and I have no idea when he's going to come or when to call or anything. And I'm just letting go. And once we leave here, we're going to be homeless in a way. They don't have any place set up to go. but I know, well, I do feel, I can feel the agitation in my body because I've energized that as true for a long time in this life. And the body is maybe 1,000,000 years old or something, and it's learned well how to do that. It wants to get me wants me to focus on that sense and believe it, because what you just said is only love is real, and so we're believing the false. That's also the divine alarm clock. So here we go. I feel guided to read a poem. And this is actually, I don't read it for you, I read it for me, because the poems that come through me are I guess Carla wrote them, but she didn't write them. And what they are is for me to remember. So I called this in PC or PL. I desire to make a confession, not because I need absolution, not because I need to repent to be saved, not because I want to blame or feel guilty for any choice I've ever made, not from lack. I desire to bring this to the light, to let go of this or any grievance against myself or anyone else, and to bless myself with letting go, to surrender fully and completely to love, to truth, to my own divinity, to realize atonement, embrace perfect love. Not from seeking, not from striving, not from yearning to be something, to become something, but to remember the something I am, to align with my true self, the self that has been patiently waiting, lovingly waiting, allowing me to choose whatever I choose until I remember to choose love and to live for my true self, the I am, because I am that I am. If confessing can help, so be it. I confess, I surrender, I let go of believing every thought, of following every emotion, of living anything less than my divine self, perfect love. So I surrender. I submit to love, the I am, my true self. Not because I need to fix anything, the self, but because I desire to love. I desire to love self. If that means surrendering, so be it. I surrender everything that blocks that truth from living through me in my life. I'm willing to fall deeply in love with myself, with my true self, which is love. I desire to love, and to love that every seeming part of self that does not seem to choose love, that does not feel love, until love transmutes everything, anything other than love, back to love. So I surrender to love, to trusting love, until I remember I am love. It's all I've ever been, all I ever was, and all that I am. Love. Perfect love. So this, and I forget when the guy is not calling and not here yet, and the elevator, we're gonna lose leaving the elevator at 1 o'clock, and I'm like, it'll be fine. The mind wants to tell me that it's not. But this too, whatever is this happening, is love, because all there is love. And so I'm willing to let go of everything that isn't that. So that's my declaration. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. Who else would like to share? Ted? You're muted, honey. There you are.
I'm really speechless. When I think that of the times that Carla has read her poems, that they couldn't reach any deeper than they had, and she just brings out another one that's just, man. Yeah, I've in the past thought of myself as a writer. Carla, you're a teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. This is this love, this deep, emotional, all-encompassing love that we feel through Carla's poetry, that we feel for each other. That's what's real. That's what's real in this world. You know, it can appear, if I look with my human eyes at what is happening in my life at the moment, that an old friendship has ended, and that another friend has lost her son, who was 11 years old. And if I choose to believe just the appearances, that could totally take me out of the light that I am and that I know is the truth of all of us. So what I am choosing is to know that there are things that are beyond what my eyes can see at work here. and that perhaps my friend and I had an agreement for these things to happen before we came into this earthly existence, and that it's helping us to heal from old patterns, each of us individually. And I can choose to see that my friend whose son passed, that it was all divinely planned, that this beautiful child that was born of a drug addicted mother with mental and physical challenges, that we were blessed with every day of his life for 11 years. And that now he is serving a larger purpose than we can see. So that's what I choose to focus on. The light that all is well, because it is, even if I can't see it or feel it in a moment. I know that it's true. And I'm was so grateful to read this because it's absolutely exactly that. The light you bring. It's not about the light that we see in the world. It's about the light that's in here, that we all are. You know, we can choose to see this earthly existence as heaven or hell. It's our choice. We're the ones that get to decide that. We're the ones that get to bring the light. We're the ones that get to hold each other up when we're not feeling the light within ourselves. And that is an amazing blessing, an honor to get to do that. Because it's often when I'm feeling at my darkest that if I reach out to someone and help them, I end up helping myself because we're one. I end up lifting myself out of that pit of darkness and despair because we're one. I have a purpose. It is the salvation of the world. And it starts with me. Go ahead, Kathleen. Oh, Carla, were you going to share?
I was going to share. So right when you were going to say something about my poetry, my computer failed in 15 minutes. It should have been good for an hour and a half. But it's so amazing that I wasn't supposed to be attached to that. I mean, that's fine. I'm really grateful that it's so amazing that it's just interesting. I was going to say, and I want to share one other line that I wrote to someone. I didn't choose this line. Actually, this was typed accidentally, and then I just left it. And I wrote that about moving and everything. I said, I have some real loving and living to do yet. And that's so true. I mean, I realized that you're not really living unless you're loving. That's living. And that's what I'm willing to do, is live. And how do I do that? Love. So that's all I wanted to share.
Carla. Kathleen.
The paragraph that hit me was number 2, especially just the first sentence. Perception's basic law could thus be said. I'm always interested in what the Course in Miracles says about perceptions. That's usually it says it's a block and it's in our way. You will rejoice at what you see because you see it to rejoice. So all we have to do is change our purpose. And so everything I see, all of you guys, my face in the mirror, my house, my cat, I'm only seeing it to rejoice. That's a choice. Oh, that rhymes. And while you think that suffering and sin will bring you joy because of, the way we're raised and all our dumb beliefs, so long will they be there for you to see. Nothing is harmful or beneficent apart from what you wish. It's your wish that makes perception what it is in its effects on you. Because you choose it as a means to gain these effects, believing them to be the bringers of rejoicing and of joy. Even in heaven does this law obtain. The Son of God creates to bring him joy, sharing his Father's purpose in his own creation, that his joy might be increased and God's along with his. It just adds more meat to changing everything we see here in our perception, with our perceptions, to changing it to joy and only seeing it in order to rejoice because God is actually becoming more joyful as we do. So that just goes along with what everybody's saying. And I affirm that I can change my basic belief core of beliefs to say that everything is happening for my good and that I can rejoice when I look at it. And I can change my beliefs slowly but surely just by affirming that I can change them. And maybe specific ones about cars, houses, people, but affirming that everything happens in a more and more of a blossoming way, like a huge, big vision or flower, just getting larger and more joyful. So yeah, yesterday kind of had a bummer day. Those days when you're like, I read the Course in Miracles, I did my, just bleh. And today I don't feel like that. It's just like day to day shifts and changes how much the ego fog that can get in there. I know I was super triggered by that abortion stuff happening in Texas. And then I keep hearing the Holy Spirit say, you can look at that a different way. Or I ask the Holy Spirit, can I look at that a different way? Because it triggers all my old sexual abuse stuff, all my betrayal by men stuff from when I was a young woman. Oh my God, this whole horde of beliefs that men don't care, and that we're on our own and women are always going to be second class citizens. Oh my gosh, this load of old beliefs just keeps wafting through my head. And every time I'm like, okay, Holy Spirit, I don't know what's really going on here. Something good's going to come of this, or I can't even judge it. I don't want to judge it or evaluate it. It has nothing to do with me. Except that I need to send love to the legislature there and send love to everybody there and send love to everybody everywhere. Because I want to rejoice when I look at it. Yay. So thanks.
Thank you, Kathleen. Dawn.
So I have a question. In that same paragraph, line 6, even in heaven does this law obtain. I'm interpreting that as meaning even heaven we create. So we create our own concept of heaven. Does that feel right to other people, or is there other clarification that you can provide?
What I've heard is that we can't create here on earth. We can only make, and we can make stuff, but we can't create. We can only really create in heaven. So we can't even really comprehend of what creation means. That's as far as I can get with it. I don't know how I create in heaven. But we create as part of God's creation, we're creating more of that. That's so when it says, even in heaven does this law obtain, yeah, it's got to be something to do with God's purpose, which is probably a lot clearer there. If there's any real difference between there and here, is to create joy. But do we have a choice there to not create joy? I don't know. I kind of don't think so. I mean, that was the original error, is that we decided to make a judgment. Boom. We decided to see what it was like to be separate. So that's all I can say about that.
May I ask a follow-up, Kathleen? When you say we make, we don't create. And this is how my head works. I'm analytical, though I'm trying to turn it off. Making meaning using that which we have, but creating would be raw and never have been before.
That's a good way to put it. You know, I love being creative here, but you know, I'm making lap desks and coloring things, or people are making children. But I don't think it's the same as the words are never what they really mean. But to create in heaven is, I've just heard that we can't do it here. All we can do is tune into loving each other and seeing each other as one. That's our purpose for being here, letting everyone know they're innocent. That we're not really here to create, I don't think. I think we're here to change the way we look at everything. Anyone
Thank
else?
you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you both. Melita.
Yeah, I have a thought about that, Dawn. I have a friend who channels loved ones, and my grandma always comes through. She's always the first in line. She was the most amazing woman way before her time. And her personality is the same. And so that's what comes to my mind is, this chapter being the light you bring. I don't know if personality is the right word, because I know there's separation. My thoughts go there, but just she seems to have she said she talks the same way. So it makes me think you bring the light wherever you are. So if you're in heaven or you're here, you still have, I don't know. I don't really know anything, but maybe some choice of your personality, of where you're coming from with each thought, or however that works. But that was my thought about that. Yeah, because my grandma's the same. She's like the same personality. So everybody who channels her, it's totally my grandma. She's awesome. And then I just wanted to thank everybody for sharing. This has been really beautiful. I love this chapter, the light you bring. The very last sentence here, how better could your own mistakes be brought to truth than by your willingness to bring the light of heaven with you as you walk beyond the world of darkness into light. It's like just a choice, it's to me, it's like a choice. Where do I want to come from? Homer and I have been doing a thing in the morning. We're trying to do a thing in the morning and at night where we just visualize how we want to feel that day, just setting an intention of how I want to feel. And it seems to be helpful. Sometimes with having the choice of what do I want to choose gets overwhelming for me. And I'm like, I'm just going to choose the wrong thing, or just whatever. Ego can slip in there. So I don't know. I think I'm going back to like surrendering. Okay, God knows what's best. I don't have to know everything. But then I think, but I have a choice. Oh, surrender. So right now I'm sort of at this place of surrendering and having intention. And, I think my mind started with manifesting in the beginning. When I first started learning spirituality, it was manifesting. But I think that's really what manifesting is in a loving way, is the light you bring and being the love that you are, that connecting to love, and that being your choice. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Melita. I appreciate your insights, and I love the idea that you have communication with a grandmother you hold so dear.
Yeah, thanks, Melita.
Yeah,
Ted,
thank you.
Yeah. Did you raise your hand again, Ted? Oh, jazz hands. Nancy Gale, and then Phil.
When I was reading this the other day, it was like the word purpose kept sticking out. It was like, and I thought it was on this page, but I don't. It's all I see is that I can't see it on the page the way I remember it. But what I remember was all I said. I'm thinking is like yes. Because it's like, what is my purpose here? Why did I come? And, and all this stuff. And I said, that's it. There it is. It's proof. So it looks, I am surrounded. Anyway, I'm in my new place. So it says minds that are back in the beginning, minds that are joined and recognize they are can feel no guilt, for they cannot attack. And they rejoice that this is so, seeing their safety in this happy fact. Their joy is in the innocence they see. And thus they seek for it, because it is their purpose to behold it and rejoice. Somehow or other, they carried through the whole thing. But it's like my purpose. And this thing, and my move here and everything that's going on in the world. And yesterday, my daughter passed away, 3 years ago. And I was talking, my grandson, her son, his father he's never met his father. He's, let's see, he's 33 now. And he's asking all kinds of questions and then asking us, cause his mom's gone now, about his father and whether he should try to meet him and all these kind of things. And he's been just asking all these questions. So last week we had this conversation, and I was telling him about Gina and all these things from before he was ever born. What was she like as a child and all these things. And I remembered that the things, it's been bringing up all this stuff to me. And it's actually been good. Ultimately been good. I told him I remember the thing, how I remember her. It's like you're talking about this child, and because I was a driver for Medical Motors, and my main responsibility was my part in that company was to transport foster children and special needs children. I did that for 15 years, and now we have another, it's like, I call them departments, but they're groupings of different children. They're called fragile children. They're born to parents, to moms who are drug addicted and all these things. And they have all these physical, disabilities. And anyway, I won't go into that. But anyways, and it's like, we love these children. These children are so special. And all I remember I'm getting off the track, but it's all related. The essence of that child. Oh, when you posted that second thing about the child and said, thank you for that. It's like, because I know those are special children and they are here for their purpose. They just are love. They are pure love. That is who they are. And if they can't even talk or whatever, that's what you guys are, that's what you are doing right here. This is the light. Love is the light. And that's what you are all, that's what I'm hearing and seeing here. I'm experiencing the love, the light. When you're talking and sharing, that's what you're doing. And then I went back to Gina. And it's like when she was born, and when Amy was, Amy was born when Gina was 2.5, 3 years old, going on 3 years old. And so we lived in New Jersey. And I remember this one day I was in the house, I was holding Amy. She cried all the time anyway. And Gina went out the back door. She's where we lived, it was safe, you know, that's like, and I let her go out the back door, and she went, and I could see her from the window. She went past the window, and around just down at the end of the house. And then between our house and the next door house was this willow tree. And somebody had given them a dog, a puppy, a young dog. I think it was a German Shepherd. I can't remember its name, but they chained it to this willow tree between our yards. And I said, okay, she's over there. And I so that I snuck out the back door just quietly and just went towards the end of the house there. And when I got there, the dog was sitting on its haunches, just sitting. And she was standing, and they were like this close, like eye to eye, and they were standing there communing. And I told Jessie this, and I said that she was about 3 years old. And I said, that's who she was. That's her whole life. That is what that inner thing that she had with animals all of her life. And I said that I knew that from that point. I knew that's how I saw her. And she was completely different from everybody else. And people, she was not accepted really. And because she didn't fit in, she didn't fit the mold of the perfect child and all this stuff. She had her own thing, just like these special needs children. I would put her in the same category, not physically, and that's what she was. And I told Jessie, I said, that's who she was. I knew that. And that's like, and then he said this comment, he said, well, it must have been very hard for you seeing her, knowing her that way when everybody else didn't. And I said, yes, it was. It's like, anyways. And so last night, it was all of a sudden, I said, I put all together with, for me, that was her purpose. Wait a minute, it's there, it's right here. I didn't try to force her into a mold. I didn't try to force her into be anything. I let her be what she was. And even though everybody else didn't see that, I let her be that. And I guess he's right. It was hard to be her mom and let her, because I seemed to be the only one. But it's like, and then I transferred it to me. And I said, I was the same way. And that's probably why my mom treated me the way she did, because I didn't fit any mold that every other child did, or what she expected. I did not fit any of those molds. And so, but she treated me, she did not love me. The only one that saw me for who I was my aunt. So, but I put it all together last night, and it was like, this has been a beautiful, beautiful, this light you bring. So she brought the light, I saw the light. I brought the light, only my aunt saw it. Until you guys. And so that makes, it's just been this most healing experience. And I'm so grateful and very grateful. So thank you very much for listening. And thank you for sharing, Linda, because that was like a key part to hear, for that child. And And then it's like my job. It's like, okay. And that's why it was so hard to have to quit, because of my knee. And I couldn't, carry them anymore and all that stuff. So, but this has been the most healing week. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you, Nancy Gale. I'm so glad that Niger's spirit could touch you that way and help you have that healing. Phil.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. And thanks, Nancy Gale, for really seeing her light, because you were the chosen one to see her light and you were able to. And your aunt was the chosen one for you to see the light, for her to see the light in you. That is really heartfelt share, Nancy Gale. Love you for doing that. And I am all over the place now because I don't know where to start, because I was going to backtrack with what Dawn started, because I had the question about the same para but a different one. And it's on paragraph 2, line 3. I know Dawn read the same stuff. So nothing is harmful or beneficial apart from what you wish. It is your wish that makes it what it is in its effect on you. And so I actually, a thought that came up as a question for me. And the thought was, so if I wish peace, that is what I will experience. And if I'm not, does that mean that I am not really wanting it? And as the sharing was going on, I also realized that I have an attachment how the peace shows up. And I know how it should show up. And if it is not showing up the way I want it to show up, of course, I am so hung up on my story that I'm not experiencing it. Because I'm as much the same way as Nancy Gale was sharing, the people wants you to fit into their mold. So I have a mold that I have created, how the peace should show up, or how the joy should show up, or how love should show up. And when it does not fit my mold, I'm having a hard day or not a peaceful day, or and this is even deeper in that. I have the mold how I should show up or how things should work out for me. And if they did not, then I feel like, oh, I don't think I'm cut out for this. And even when Kathleen was reading, I know Kathleen read the same stuff. And I was thinking, man, this really stood out for me. And it really helped me to see, and it made it has a different meaning, as Nancy Gale was sharing. Like how much I, and probably a lot of us, do the same thing to ourselves. But I can talk for myself that I do it all the time. And then I say, oh, I chose today, I chose my intention in the morning was to be loving. And I totally fell off the wagon. Instead of seeing that, I chose it. But it showed up and I was not able to see it because I had the mold to fit it in. And so I said I'm all over the place because when Nancy Gill read the first sentence, which of course I had also highlighted, minds that are joined and recognize and are joined and recognize they can feel no guilt, for they cannot attack, and they rejoice that it is so, seeing their safety in this happy fact. And as Nancy Gale was reading it, what came up for me was, I think it's a story that I think, or a parable that a monk was trying to ask his uh, students, saying, why do people who are in love, they're so joined, they speak very softly, and sometimes they don't even talk. And it, the other person already know because their hearts are so close and they're joined that they don't even need words anymore. And the people who get angry, and this, it could be the same people down the line, scream and shout at each other. Why do they need to shout? And he said, because their hearts have grown so apart that they cannot hear. And the more apart the hearts are, and how I took this is, more apart our minds are, the louder that we have to speak, or the louder the anger then start, and they have to shout at each other, versus really feel that love and experience the love in each other. This might sound out of context, but it just had that thing for myself. So thanks for listening. I'm done.
Thank you, Phil. My internet is unstable, so I think I left 3 times while you were talking, but I think I got the gist of it. It was beautiful, so thank you. And I see Linda Kay has her hand raised, and I noticed Grace had her hand raised earlier too. So Linda first, and then Grace, if you would like to share.
Yes, this is Linda.
Yes, hi.
Oh, I'll try to be visible. There we go. Wow, there have been so many shares and so much to say about all these amazing shares. Thank you, Carla, once again for such an exceptional poem. I can hardly wait for a time when those poems are collected in a book that we may all we will gladly purchase your book, but it'll be a gift to us, because if I had your poems in a book, I would read at least a poem a day to guide me. And something that Carla always talks about that really blows my mind, and it's not that Linda or anyone else hasn't mentioned it, but love, like all we have is love, all there is love. And then I think, wow, I've gone through a huge part of my life, if not most of my life, not really having any focus on that. So this is a big surprise or revelation as an adult woman. I thought I was a loving person. Maybe I just thought I was downloaded the love thing, so therefore it was in me. When in fact, when I hear all of you talk about it, I realize I have not been living in this world of love in the way that I hear the rest of the people in the Course in Miracles or the rest of Jennifer's work to talk about it. Melinda, by the way, or sorry, Melita, who's on the call, has also shown me a lot. But Phil, I have to tell you, I see your face right now. So you really inspired me with what you were sharing. And I wrote, I choose to be loving in any in whatever form it may come. I choose to be loving in whatever form it may come, including challenges and conflict, because that is where my learning is. I need to learn what it is to be. It's easy to love in a loving situation. I think the real measure of this love and this peace that we're working toward is, can I hold that loving space for myself and for another or others in the midst of the challenges and conflicts? And so that you have inspired me to write this out. There we go. I got my little scribbles on the paper. I'm gonna type it up and make it a little poster from my office. I have these posters. So I have "Thy will be done." What do I say? All is well with my soul. And I got this in class too. Whatever happens, I don't mind. Because those are really helpful. I even wrote it on my arm, but it's to remember. And then Linda, your share about a friendship, that sometimes these friendships run their course, and the loss of a young child, there's such sobering aspects of life. And I so appreciated that you shared that today, because it really made me look at, I have all these sobering aspects in my life, and where do I need to let go? Where do I need to surrender? Where do I need to heal? Where do I need to surround it with love? Again, these are all things I thought I knew how to do until I came into class. And now I realize I am a baby and a neophyte, but I am an enthusiastic learner. So, and very humbled. So thank you for that. All the rest of you, enjoy your week and your weekend. Nice to be sharing. Thank you.
Did we lose Linda again?
It seems so, Grace. Would you like to say something?
Yeah, so I agree with Linda Kay that it's hard to keep your thoughts together when you hear so many wonderful shares. And this last hour has just been gorgeous. So many things being shared, so many things coming up. Carla's beautiful poems. And I'm sorry, but I have to hear Carla read them. It's not enough to read them. I have to hear her voice and catch that, what is that vibration? I don't know, but it's gorgeous. So what I wanted to share, and I'm looking at that paragraph that we've been looking at, paragraph 4. So I'm staying with my daughter and her family, and I have been here for 3 weeks. And boy, am I judgmental? Didn't I know that? No, I didn't know it till now. I just, every time I see them together, I'm like, this is happening, that is happening, why this, what? And I've had to do a Pono about 50 times a day, which is probably quite good for me. But till I finally got to the point where I thought, am I at peace? No, I'm so not at peace. And so I decided to just offer peace to the whole situation. Apart from yesterday, my son-in-law, who doesn't exactly converse very much, made a dig at me, and I said to him, now from now on, Shai, I only want you to say kind things to me, okay? Since I'm your main provider of A, B, and C. And then my daughter joined in and said, yes. And she's helping me so much. So it went down okay. But I brought peace to the situation, and I just stopped the judging. I mean, I go into it immediately and I stop it immediately. And you know what? I was quite surprised. My son-in-law actually started to chatter a little bit with me. And it was just, it's a case of infinite patience brings immediate results. I was quite shocked, quite shocked. and who's been friendly and a bit chatty. So that's what I took away from the reading, that when we offer peace, then we're in heaven. I don't know about everybody else, but we're in heaven. And that's where I needed to be. And just one thing, Kathleen, about your share, I read on the New York Times today, what's happening in Texas actually might be a good thing, believe it or not, because it's just uniting women all over this country. And who knows where that's going to take us, because we are mighty powerful. But also there was an opinion by somebody who was interning at the Pentagon, and she was being sexually harassed by quite a high up officer, and it's similar to the military. And after this party they were at, she and all the other interns went home, and when she decided she was just going to push it down, she wasn't going to complain because it would ruin her career, you know, and she wasn't going to let herself feel hurt and humiliated. She was just going to put it out of her mind. She got to the Pentagon the next morning. A senior officer had reported the guy who harassed her. And it just went through all the channels. Everybody was, you know, very united over it. And the guy who harassed her was offered counseling. So things are getting better. I always want to look at the good side, and that was the good side. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. I don't know how long Zoom will hang on to me, but I see Saskia's got her hand raised. So go ahead, Saskia.
Thank you. Yeah, I particularly appreciated Phil's share about having an idea about what things should look like. I found that quite pertinent. And I just wanted to mention that because I was having a big moan and being very miserable last week, I just wanted to mention that I've had something, a little miracle did happen finally. Today I have found the cleaner, and that might not sound like such a big deal, but for me it is. And I suppose I wanted it to come within a certain time frame. And also I had, before this happened, I was doing my usual blaming myself. And I had this realization that this thing went flashing through my mind that I felt God was displeased with me and didn't want to give me what I was asking for because I wasn't trying hard enough, and I wasn't, you know, I wasn't loving enough, and this and that, and I thought, this must be this particular form of ingrained guilt that we don't, this unconscious guilt I keep hearing about, which is very topical at the moment. And it's actually shown itself to me, because I thought, well, I don't know about this. I mean, I believe that's, you know, I'm told that this is there, but I've never felt it. I think God is a loving God and all that. And I feel so far, you know, so far from from being conscious of this. And it's actually shown itself in one instance. So I feel as if that must be some kind of progress. in a funny way. Thank you.
Thank you, Saskia. I believe Linda has been kicked out again of her own room. And she's back.
Oh my goodness. So I'm just hopefully going to quickly say that we will continue in chapter 25, section 6, the state of sinlessness. I'm going to ask if somebody else could please pray us out just in case I get knocked off, and then we'll close for the week. And thank you, Saskia. I'm so grateful that you found a cleaner and you're realizing little miracles in your life.
Hi, Linda. It's Linda Kay.
Yes.
Can I say something as we pray out? I had just put this in the chat. My mom is in a heart procedure at the hospital as we speak. And I would like to ask your prayers of support for her well-being and successful heart procedure, and for that of her surgeon and the team who support him and who will be taking care of her while she's at the hospital. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll pray out.
Oh, thank you, Carla.
Okay. Let's take a deep breath and love ourselves with this prayer. We're so grateful for our growing awakening, our growing realization of the light that we are. And I'm grateful for this time of joining right here in this class. That's life. Life is a joining. And what it is joining to love. We can't learn love because love is what we are. What we can learn or remember is to choose it more consistently, to be willing to let go of the false self who constantly tells us, nah, chatter, and listen with our heart, not with our eyes, with our heart, and know the truth each moment. So we're all overjoyed because we're all learning how to do this more fully. Great, we're so awesome. Thank you. Thank you, self, higher self. Thank you, life, for showing us the truth, for never giving up on us and allowing us our own time frame that we choose to grow into the light that we are. So we are that. We have never not been that. That's the truth that we know. That's the truth that we share. That's the truth that we live. So share the truth. Share it. Share it with self, share it with life, share it with anybody you come across, even someone who doesn't seem like they want to hear it. Speak it inside in your heart. You don't have to tell them in words so they hear it. Speak to their I am presence, who knows what love is. Because we can choose whatever we choose, but the I am never stops us because it loves us, because we are that. So it's ourself loving ourself. So let's share all this truth with everyone and live. Truly live. Amen.
Thank you, everybody. Hopefully Zoom will cooperate with me a little better next week. I'll see y'all soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Linda.
Hey, Carla, do you have a minute?
Yeah. Well,
It's
yeah,
okay. It can wait.
Thank
No.
you.
she just has to stop the recording, right? And it's fine.
Oh, you're the host now.
Oh, thank you, Linda.
Is the recording stopped? No, it is still recording.
Uh,
As you were the host, Carla, can you stop the recording?
Let's see. I stop recording. Well, it's asked me to stop the recording in the cloud. Yeah, I'll do it.